Most people think their biggest problem is their job, their family, money, or bad luck. But a Shaolin master would say something very different. He would say, your biggest problem is not what happens outside you. It is what happens inside your mind. Think about it for a moment. Every single day, thousands of thoughts enter your mind. Some make you smile, some inspire you, but many of them create fear, doubt, anger, regret, and sadness. The strange part is that most people never question these thoughts. They simply believe them, and the moment they believe them, those thoughts begin controlling their emotions, decisions, and eventually, their entire life. Imagine you are walking through a park. Suddenly, a stranger comes to you and says, "You are a failure. You will never achieve anything." You would probably ignore that person. You would think, this stranger doesn't know me. But when the exact same sentence comes from your own mind, you believe it immediately. Isn't that strange? Why do we trust every negative thought that appears inside our head? Just because a thought enters your mind does not mean it is true. A Shaolin master once compared thoughts to clouds in the sky. Every day, clouds come and go. Some are white and beautiful. Some are dark and full of rain. But no matter what kind of clouds appear, the sky never changes. The sky simply watches them pass. In the same way, your mind is the sky and your thoughts are only clouds. They come, they stay for a while, then they leave. The problem begins when you grab a dark cloud and refuse to let it go. Suppose you made one mistake years ago. Maybe you failed an exam. Maybe you lost a business. Maybe someone rejected you. Maybe you trusted the wrong person. Your mind suddenly says, "See? You always fail." Now ask yourself honestly, is that a fact? Or is it just one thought trying to convince you that your entire life can be judged by one moment? A single failure never defines a person, yet negative thoughts always try to make temporary situations feel permanent. Negative thoughts are excellent storytellers. They create stories that sound real, but they are often completely false. They whisper, "Nobody loves you. You are too late. You are too old. You are too weak. You can't change. Others are better than you." The more you listen, the more powerful these stories become. Slowly, they become your reality, not because they were true, but because you believed them. A Shaolin warrior learns one important lesson very early. Never believe everything your mind says. The mind is like an untrained monkey. It jumps from one branch to another without stopping. One minute it remembers the past. The next minute it fears the future. Then it compares itself with others. Then it imagines problems that don't even exist. If you follow that monkey everywhere, you will never find peace. Think about how often your fears never actually happen. Have you ever spent hours worrying about something, only to realize later that everything turned out fine? Your mind created suffering before reality even arrived. This is what negative thinking does. It makes you fight battles that don't exist. Instead of believing every thought, begin asking one simple question whenever negativity appears. Ask yourself, is this absolutely true? You will be surprised how often the answer is no. Maybe your mind says, everyone is judging me. Is everyone really judging you? Probably not. Maybe your mind says, I'll never succeed. Can you really know the future? Of course not. The moment you question a negative thought, it starts losing its power. Remember, thoughts are visitors. They knock on your door, but you decide whether to invite them inside. Just because someone knocks doesn't mean they deserve a seat in your house. In the same way, not every thought deserves your attention. Now imagine your mind as a busy road. Hundreds of cars pass every hour. Do you chase every single car? No. You simply watch them pass. Thoughts should be treated the same way. Let them come. Let them go. There is no need to chase every idea that appears. This brings us to one of the greatest secrets of Shaolin wisdom. A master does not fight every negative thought. Fighting often makes it stronger. Have you ever tried not to think about something? The harder you try, the more it returns. Tell yourself not to think about a pink elephant, and suddenly that is all you can think about. Instead of fighting thoughts, simply observe them. Observation is one of the strongest forms of mental discipline. Imagine sitting beside a river. Leaves float on the water. Some leaves are beautiful, others are dirty. But you don't jump into the river to catch every leaf. You simply watch them float away. Your thoughts are exactly like those leaves. When anger appears, simply notice it. Say quietly inside yourself, I notice anger. When fear appears, say, I notice fear. When self-doubt appears, say, I notice self-doubt. Do you see what happened? Instead of becoming the emotion, you became the observer of the emotion. That small change is incredibly powerful. The moment you become the observer, your thoughts stop controlling you. They may still appear, but they no longer decide your actions. A Shaolin warrior understands that emotions are temporary visitors. They rise, they stay, then they disappear. Nothing lasts forever. Think about the ocean. On the surface, there are huge waves crashing everywhere. But deep below the surface, the water remains calm and peaceful. Most people live only on the surface of their minds. Every little wave shakes them. Every opinion hurts them. Every problem creates panic. But a trained mind lives deep below the surface, where peace remains untouched. This doesn't mean you stop feeling emotions. Shaolin masters are not emotionless. They feel sadness, disappointment, fear, and frustration, just like everyone else. The difference is that they don't become prisoners of those emotions. Imagine someone insults you. The average person carries those words for days. They replay the conversation again and again. They become angry. They lose sleep. But the Shaolin mindset asks, why should I carry someone else's negativity inside my heart? The insult happened once. The mind repeats it hundreds of times. The real suffering comes from repetition, not from the original event. Observation creates space between you and your reactions. In that space, wisdom is born. A beautiful story tells of a young student who asked his master, how do I stop being angry? The master smiled and handed him a cup filled to the very top with water. Then he told the student to walk across the temple courtyard without spilling a single drop. The student focused so deeply on balancing the cup that he forgot about everything else. After reaching the other side, the master asked, did you notice people talking around you? The student replied, no. Did you notice the birds? No. Did you notice the wind? No. The master smiled and said, where your attention goes, your life follows. Your attention is your greatest power. If your attention constantly follows negative thoughts, negativity grows. If your attention follows peace, patience, learning, and purpose, those qualities grow instead. Most people spend years trying to control the world. They want people to behave differently. They want perfect situations. They want problems to disappear. But the Shaolin path teaches something much wiser. Control your attention, and you begin controlling your life. Now let's talk about pain, because everyone experiences it. Nobody escapes failure. Nobody escapes heartbreak. Nobody escapes loss. Pain is part of being human, but suffering is different. Suffering often comes from the meaning we attach to pain. Imagine two people lose their jobs on the same day. One says, my life is over. The other says, this is painful, but maybe this is the opportunity I never expected. Same event, different mindset, different future. Pain can either become your prison or your teacher. Every Shaolin warrior understands that growth never comes from comfort. Muscles become stronger only after resistance. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold becomes pure only after passing through fire. Nature itself teaches us that pressure creates strength. Look back at your own life. Think about your hardest moments. Maybe at that time you wished they had never happened. But today, perhaps those experiences made you wiser, stronger, kinder, or more patient. The lesson was hidden inside the struggle. Negative thoughts always focus on the wound. Wise people search for the lesson. When you fail, your mind immediately says, you are not good enough. But a Shaolin master asks a different question. What is this failure trying to teach me? That one question changes everything. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. If he had believed every negative thought after his first few failures, the world might have been very different. Successful people are not people who never fail. They are people who refuse to let failure become their identity. Every setback carries information. Maybe you need more patience. Maybe you need better preparation. Maybe you need new skills. Maybe you simply need to try again with greater wisdom. Think of a tree during a storm. Strong winds don't always destroy the tree. They force its roots to grow deeper into the earth. In the same way, life's storms can deepen your character if you choose to learn instead of giving up. Many people ask, why is this happening to me? But a stronger question is, what is this trying to teach me? The first question creates self-pity. The second creates growth. A Shaolin master never wastes pain. Every difficult experience becomes training. Every obstacle becomes practice. Every disappointment becomes another opportunity to strengthen patience, courage, and discipline. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack every day. At first, it feels impossible, but over time, your body becomes stronger because of the weight. Life works in a similar way. Challenges strengthen qualities inside you that comfort never can. Even bamboo teaches an important lesson. For years after it is planted, almost nothing appears above the ground. Many people would think nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, the roots are growing wider and deeper. Then one day, it suddenly grows incredibly fast. Your personal growth often works the same way. Just because you cannot see immediate results does not mean you are not growing. So the next time life becomes difficult, don't immediately believe the negative voice inside your head. Don't assume the struggle means you are losing. Sometimes life is building the roots you will need for the success that is coming later. The strongest people are not those who never cry. They are the ones who keep moving even after they cry. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is taking one more step while fear is still walking beside you. Every challenge gives you two choices. You can become bitter or you can become better. You can complain or you can grow. You can allow negative thoughts to define your future, or you can use every hardship to build a stronger version of yourself. The Shaolin path is not about having a perfect life. It is about building a mind that remains steady through an imperfect life. When you stop believing every negative thought, when you learn to observe your mind instead of reacting to it, and when you begin seeing pain as a teacher instead of an enemy, something incredible starts to happen. Your mind becomes quieter. Your heart becomes lighter. Your confidence grows from within. And little by little, you discover that the peace you were searching for was never outside you. It was waiting inside you all along, hidden beneath the noise of fear, doubt, and negative thinking. A Shaolin master once said, "The mind becomes whatever you train it to become." This simple sentence carries a powerful truth. Most people want a peaceful mind, but very few are willing to train for it. Imagine someone saying, "I want a strong body," but they never exercise, never move, and never take care of themselves. Would they become strong? Of course not. The same rule applies to your mind. Mental strength is not something people are born with. It is something they build every single day. Many people think that discipline is punishment. They think discipline means waking up early, following strict rules, or giving up everything they enjoy. But a Shaolin master sees discipline differently. Discipline is freedom. It frees you from laziness. It frees you from fear. It frees you from overthinking. It frees you from being controlled by your emotions. Think about a river. When water has no direction, it spreads everywhere and loses its power. But when the same water flows through a narrow path, it becomes strong enough to move rocks. Your attention works the same way. If your mind keeps jumping from one worry to another, from one fear to another, it loses its strength. But when your attention becomes focused, your mind becomes incredibly powerful. Every day gives you a new chance to train your mind. You do not need a mountain temple. You do not need special clothes. You do not need years of experience. You only need the decision to practice. The first training begins the moment you wake up. Most people open their eyes and immediately grab their phone. Within minutes, they fill their mind with news, social media, arguments, and other people's opinions. Before their own day even begins, their mind already feels tired. Imagine instead that you wake up and spend just a few quiet minutes with yourself. Take a slow breath. Look outside the window. Feel thankful that you have another day to live. Tell yourself, today, I will not let my thoughts control me. I will control my attention. These simple words may seem small, but they slowly change the direction of your entire day. A Shaolin warrior knows that mornings shape the mind. The way you begin your day often decides how you will respond to everything that follows. If you begin with peace, you carry peace into your work, your family, and your challenges. Training your mind also means becoming comfortable with discomfort. This is something modern life tries to avoid. We want everything to be easy. We want quick success, instant happiness, and immediate results. But strength grows slowly. Just as a tree does not become tall overnight, your mind does not become calm in one day. Imagine lifting a heavy stone every morning. The first day, it feels impossible. Your arms shake, your muscles hurt. But after weeks of practice, that same stone becomes lighter. Did the stone become lighter? No. You became stronger. Life works exactly the same way. Problems may not become smaller, but you become stronger. That is the goal. Do not pray for an easier life. Train yourself to become a stronger person. One powerful habit of Shaolin training is staying present. Most people are trapped between yesterday and tomorrow. They replay old mistakes or imagine future disasters. Meanwhile, today quietly slips away. Ask yourself honestly, how many beautiful moments have you missed because your mind was busy worrying? Maybe someone smiled at you, but you didn't notice. Maybe your child wanted your attention, but your thoughts were somewhere else. Maybe the sunset was beautiful, but your eyes were fixed on your phone. The present moment is where life actually happens. The past is only memory. The future is only imagination. Yet we often spend more time living in memories and imagination than in reality. A Shaolin master once told his student, "When you drink tea, drink tea. When you walk, walk. When you listen, truly listen." The student looked confused because it sounded too simple. But that simplicity was the lesson. Most people never fully experience anything because their minds are always somewhere else. They eat while thinking about work. They work while thinking about home. They rest while thinking about tomorrow. Their body is in one place, but their mind is in another. Real peace begins when your mind and your body finally arrive in the same moment. As you continue training your mind, another important lesson appears. You begin choosing what deserves your energy. Every single day, people waste enormous amounts of emotional energy on things they cannot control. They worry about other people's opinions. They replay conversations that already ended. They become angry over situations they cannot change. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with rocks. Every unnecessary worry becomes another rock. Every old regret becomes another rock. Every pointless argument becomes another rock. Eventually, the backpack becomes so heavy that even small challenges feel impossible. A Shaolin master teaches you to remove those rocks one by one. Ask yourself, can I control this? If the answer is yes, then stop worrying and start acting. If the answer is no, then worrying will never change it anyway. This simple question protects your peace more than you realize. Now think about gratitude. Many people believe gratitude is something you feel only when life becomes perfect. But life is never perfect. There will always be problems. There will always be something missing. If you wait for perfection before becoming grateful, you may spend your whole life waiting. Gratitude is not pretending everything is wonderful. It is choosing to notice what is still good, even during difficult times. Imagine two people walking through the same garden after a storm. One notices only the broken branches. The other notices the flowers that survived. Both are looking at the same place, but they experience completely different emotions. Your mind becomes what you focus on. If you constantly focus on what you lack, you will always feel poor. If you constantly focus on what is wrong, life will always feel unfair. But if you begin noticing what you already have, your heart becomes lighter. Maybe you have food today. Maybe you have someone who cares about you. Maybe your body still allows you to walk. Maybe you have another chance to improve. These are not small things. Millions of people would pray for what you already have. A Shaolin master practices gratitude because gratitude changes perspective. It reminds you that even during hard seasons, life still offers gifts. Another powerful habit is replacing negative thoughts with purposeful thoughts. Notice that this does not mean lying to yourself. If you are struggling, do not pretend everything is perfect. Instead of saying, nothing is wrong, say, this is difficult, but I will grow through it. Instead of saying, I cannot do this, say, I cannot do this yet, but I can learn. Instead of saying, everything is falling apart, say, this is one chapter, not my whole story. Small changes in language create huge changes in mindset. Your words become your inner voice. Your inner voice becomes your beliefs. Your beliefs become your actions. Your actions become your future. That is why wise people protect the conversations they have with themselves. Imagine speaking to yourself the way you speak to someone you truly love. Would you constantly call them useless? Would you remind them of every mistake? Would you tell them they will never succeed? Of course not. Yet many people treat themselves more harshly than they would ever treat another human being. A Shaolin warrior practices compassion, even toward himself, because a peaceful heart grows faster than a heart filled with self-hatred. Now let us talk about purpose. Purpose is one of the strongest medicines for a restless mind. People who have no direction often become trapped in endless overthinking. Their energy has nowhere to go. But when you wake up with purpose, your attention naturally moves toward meaningful action. Purpose does not always mean changing the world. Sometimes, your purpose today is simply becoming a better person than you were yesterday. Sometimes, your purpose is taking care of your family. Sometimes, your purpose is learning one new skill. Sometimes, your purpose is helping one person smile. Small purposes create meaningful lives. A Shaolin master never waits for motivation. He relies on commitment. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. Some mornings you feel excited. Other mornings you feel tired. If you only work when you feel motivated, your progress will always stop. Commitment says, I will continue even when I don't feel like it. That is where true strength is born. As months and years pass, something beautiful begins to happen. You stop reacting to everything. Someone criticizes you. Instead of becoming angry, you listen calmly. Someone misunderstands you. Instead of arguing endlessly, you remain peaceful. Life becomes difficult. Instead of panicking, you breathe and keep moving. People start wondering why you remain so calm. The answer is simple. You trained your mind long before the storm arrived. A sailor does not learn to sail during the storm. He practices before the waves become dangerous. In the same way, your daily habits prepare you for life's hardest moments. Then comes one of the greatest lessons of the Shaolin path. Protect your peace. Peace is more valuable than proving yourself right. Peace is more valuable than winning every argument. Peace is more valuable than impressing strangers. Many people lose their happiness trying to win battles that never mattered. Sometimes the strongest response is silence. Sometimes the strongest decision is walking away. Sometimes the strongest victory is refusing to carry hatred in your heart. Remember, not every invitation deserves your acceptance. If someone invites you into anger, you do not have to go. If someone invites you into gossip, you do not have to join. If someone invites you into negativity, you can politely decline. That choice protects your energy. Eventually, you reach a point where external events no longer control your inner world. Rain may fall. People may disappoint you. Plans may fail. Life may become uncertain. But your peace remains. Not because life became easy, because you became stronger. Think about a mountain. Storms hit the mountain every year. Heavy rain falls, strong winds blow, snow covers its peak, yet the mountain remains standing. It does not chase the wind. It does not argue with the rain. It simply stands firm. Become like that mountain. Let life bring whatever it brings. Meet every challenge with patience. Meet every failure with wisdom. Meet every success with humility. Meet every new day with gratitude. Then one day, you will notice something incredible. The negative thoughts that once controlled you now arrive quietly and leave quietly. Fear still visits, but it no longer stays. Doubt still knocks, but it no longer enters. Anger still appears, but it no longer controls your words. You finally understand that peace was never something you had to search for outside yourself. It was something you built from within. One choice, one habit, one thought, and one day at a time. This is the true strength of a Shaolin mind. It is not about becoming fearless. It is about refusing to let fear become your master. It is not about never feeling pain. It is about never allowing pain to steal your purpose. It is not about controlling the entire world. It is about mastering the only thing you truly own, your own mind. And when your mind becomes your friend instead of your enemy, nothing outside you can truly steal your happiness. Challenges will still come. Life will still surprise you. But deep inside, there will be a quiet confidence that cannot be shaken. You will know that whatever happens, you have trained yourself to respond with wisdom instead of panic, patience instead of anger, and hope instead of fear. That is the greatest victory any human being can ever achieve. It is not the victory over other people. It is the victory over yourself. And once you win that battle, your future is no longer controlled by negative thoughts. It is guided by strength, peace, and purpose.